Hi everybody, Freaky Boy here. Welcome back to Big Picture Tarot. Today I'm doing some sample readings with cards only from the Minor Arcana to show how I use the big picture that I've talked about to actually pull out the meaning of the cards when I'm reading them. This isn't about how to do readings or any of that stuff. This is just that application of the cards. I do want to apologize real quick for the kind of odd lighting in this video. It's kind of gray and rainy today, which I normally enjoy, but that means the sunlight is not pouring into the window as it usually does, so my desk lamp is taking full control, so that's the stark lighting in my face is from that. I would turn on the overhead lamp, but then we'd all be blinded, and nobody wants that. So, I've got my deck here ready to go. I'm going to give it a quick shuffle, or attempt to shuffle it, and then screw it up. But we're okay with that. This isn't a real reading. So, I'm going to do 3 card readings. Actually, I'm going to do three card readings. There we go. And I'm just doing 3 cards, not for any, I'm not saying these are good spreads for the readings I'm doing. I'm just showing examples again. So I'm going to do a question about someone's love life first, and I have a card for the past, the present, and the future. The past is the Ten of Swords, and that's, that's one of those cards that you see and you're like, did I die in the past? I'm still alive. I don't understand. But, of course, the 10 is about the fulfillment of the suit. So this is everything being known because we're talking about swords. We're talking about finished thoughts. All the worries that you had in the 9 are gone. You've gone down every road. You can be free. It's about also the power of truth, the weight of it. So what we're seeing here in terms of love life then might be that someone really had gotten out everything they gotten from a past relationship, everything they needed to, or they were overthinking everything and they just finally decided they were done trying to rationalize, emotions, which are not always rational, and move out of a space into something else. Of course, when reading, you pull these cards into, you see how they go based on the cards after them. Of course, all my cards start out turned over, so the backs are face up. So, that moves us into the present, which is the Nine of Wands, which is, Lord, there's some intense cards going on in this love reading. So, the Nine of Wands is, you remember, 9s are generally about the achievement of the suit, but not yet understood in context. It's just being in the situation wherever you've been working for, you've now got. This is your will, your spiritual, experiential depths here. You're right there in those. So this says maybe they're in a place of going just by their willpower. There's no emotional attachment. Maybe they're in a relationship where they're doing it because they just want to, even if it's not satisfying, even if it's not what they want, because they've left their emotions kind of behind in the 10 of Swords and moved into the 9 of Wands, where they're achieving what they want even through all the challenges that they may face, which makes me think this person should probably stop. Think about what it is that makes them happy and go for that. Let's see what the next card is. See if it's a cup card, because notice there's just swords and wands right now, and it is a cup. So the future position is the Knight of Cups. So remember, the Knight is the attitude of the second row, which is always about the basics and the tool sets of emotions and relationships, bonds, psychic abilities, all those things. So the Knight says, thank you, that this person is now in a place where, or going to be in a place where they are following their heart a little more. They are letting relationships be about emotions and not about reason, or not about, damn it, I'm going to do this. This is what I want. Maybe butting heads a little bit. There's someone that's letting, their inner world guide them a little more. It's interesting that this is kind of opposed to the 10 of Swords, with being in the future and the past. The 10 was kind of saying they stopped looking at things rationally. They thought about everything rationally. This could be about one relationship they've been in, possibly, I wonder. Yeah, it's coming at it like thinking about how relationships are supposed to be and letting that go, and then and right now there's a bit of conflict as you're shifting the style of your relationship, and then you're just going with your heart. Maybe that relationship ended, and now you're actually going for something that benefits you. I don't know. Obviously, you could bounce this off your querent or whoever you're talking about, but I would not want to be this person, is what I've learned from this reading. So let's move on, shall we? I'm going to set these cards aside and just pull from the same deck. Since these aren't real readings, I don't need to shuffle the cards back in. I'm just using examples. So this one's going to be about someone's career. So past, present, and future. I would probably use this spread with career if someone wants to know where they're headed, or just to give them a broader picture to know where they've been in the past and how that's affecting the future. I love timelines in readings. I use them a lot. So the past, we have the Page of Swords, and the page, of course, is the initiate of the suit. So it's also the attitude of the first line. So this is someone now considering their thoughts or the truth that they have, or someone that likes to brandish their knowledge a little bit. Maybe you'll always speak the truth, but not always tactfully, you know. Sometimes you just shouldn't repeat things other people have said, even if it is the truth, you know. It's communicating without, you know, that the art of rhetoric quite yet. You don't know how to add some nuance to your words. So in terms of career, this says maybe you are also starting out. You are considering things anew, considering your philosophy about things, or if you're actually in your field. This was the past. Maybe you were learning your field. You started out new. Since this is a person that is starting out learning, they do want to know. This may have been you in school. Maybe you're finishing school. You know, I'm giving like 10,000 possibilities. Again, you'll bounce these off whoever you're talking about or yourself. Which moves us into in the present, the Seven of Cups. And the Seven is, I haven't been showing you any of these cards except like one. So here's the Seven of Cups. The Seven is about considering what makes you happy. Remember, it's the beginning of the fourth row, moving back into the outer world. We've just learned the inner world, which was about managing our emotions and feeling them and finding a place of emotional constancy and stability even. So this is about, now that you got your emotions under control, you're trying to bring your emotionality into the world, and you're just thinking like, what would make me happy? But you're not doing anything about it. But in this instance, it seems like you learned some stuff for your career, maybe went to school, and then maybe you're questioning it right now. What's really going to make you happy? Or maybe you've got several job offers and you're really considering between them in terms of, where do I want to end up? Where do I want to be? What's going to make me happy? So like maybe they'll require moving, and you want to know, you know, how's that going to affect my relationships, or which city is the place I'd really like to end up in. If this is a long-term, you know, engagement that you're considering, maybe you should be considering what makes you happy. Maybe there's a need for this situation. So this moves us into the Three of Wands, which just tells me this whole row is about something early. This person's early in their career. So the three again is the finishing, the final sentence of the second row, and the Three of Wands is about having put yourself out there. Remember, in the two you consider what you want, and then in the three, why is my camera suddenly so bright? Sorry. Maybe the three is about having done something, waiting for your ships to come in, sending your ships out, you know, sending off resume. That's the thing that jumps out here to me, is the whole resume thing, being this is career. You've considered what you want, you've done something about it, and now you're starting out in your field. Maybe you got it. Maybe you get a job. Maybe you get the job, not just a job, but the job that's going to get you where you want to be career-wise. So there's a wand here. It's always interesting when you're talking about these very tangible things to look to see if the suit that goes best with that is present, I think, and where it's present. So this is in the future position here, which says that's where it's, to me that says that's kind of when this careerness is going to come to the fore, is in the future. Right now you're coming at your career from logical and emotional or reasoning pathways rather than actual doing and being pathways. So that wraps up that line. I didn't show you the damn Three of Wands again. Okay, so this time we're going to do a less tangible one and a more spiritual one, and someone is asking about their spirituality. So let's look at where they've been. And in the past, they've been in the Three of Cups. So the 3, again, end of the second row. So we know that this is about the completion of the tools. You got the basics, and of course, the one of emotion is making emotional bonds, and this is being part of a group. So this says to me that someone has found a place where they feel accepted and happy, especially amongst a religious group, maybe a religious order of some sort, maybe a church, maybe a coven, anything like that, or they feel like they're part of something. Maybe it's not necessarily that they're in a group of people. They could be solitary, but they feel like they're now part of something and accepted, and they found the right place. There's some emotional bonds forming. Whether those are good for them or bad for them, we don't yet know, but they are there, and there is caring. The heart wants what the heart wants sometimes, so it's that sense. So now we move into the present, which is the Queen of Cups, and we have another Cups. Interesting. So this says this is someone, remember, it's the attitude of the third line, the inner world. So we've learned how to be emotionally stable. So this is the attitude of your emotions aren't getting the best at you. You're diving in. You're getting into the depths of things. Now you are letting your emotions guide you a little bit because you can feel them more successfully now. So you let's connect the two cards. In the 3, you felt like you found your group, and you've really matured because of it, or you're in a place where your emotional maturity is now of use to you. Maybe there was some drama when you first started, and now you've handled that. You're a more mature person. So it's interesting that you're talking about spirituality, and you have 2 cups so far, because that says to me your spiritual journey has been very emotional right now, or emotionally focused. That's how your spirituality might be helping you as well. We move into the future, which is the 5 of Wands. That's a fun card to have in your spirituality. So what this says is you may be butting some heads with some people. Maybe you're going for leadership positions. I'm thinking, high priest and high priestess drama here that you sometimes read about in Wiccan, pagan, other ends sort of things. Or you may be challenged. Maybe you're all initiates of whatever religious order that you found yourself in, and you're going at it. But notice you're coming from a place of emotional maturity. So this really is a battle of wills. This is about you putting in the hard effort it takes to get what you want and get where you want to be. But you're also don't forget what the 5 leads into. The 6, that place of victory, the understanding that let's pull it to the Queen of Wands. Actually, the understanding that the value of having achieved something because you worked hard for it, because you put in a lot of effort, you had to fight for it. That's what that attitude, being in that place where you're experiencing that, is the 6. So the 5 is moving into that. The 5 then, you probably want to be in this battle, and it's not melodrama. It's really just getting what you want and getting what you need. Maybe there's a disconnect now with your spiritual group because you want them to, maybe your ideas and their ideas of where you want to go and where they want you to go are just not jiving right now. But what drives you is going to play a role in your spirituality soon. It looks like you're moving out of an emotional place and into a place of the will of who you are. So that finishes all 3 readings. I hope that was helpful for you to kind of see not only how I use the big picture to learn the cards, but how I use it to read them as well. Normally when I'm reading, I don't go through all of that out loud of, it's in this row, because obviously they don't know what the hell you're talking about, maybe, depending on who you're talking to, or they don't know, my version of the big picture. So, normally I just spat out the meanings, and sometimes people will, you'll know when there's several meanings to the card, which one seems to play a role, which ones fit the story the best. Also, if you're reading with someone, they'll sometimes give you the, that look of that, no, you're wrong, that card is wrong. I gave a reading to my friend a few weeks ago, and I got that look when I said it was the 9 of Wands. I remember, I said, you may be feeling like you're at your wit's end and really having to go through something. And she's like, no. I'm like, okay, maybe you're feeling like you've been overcoming things. It's the other nuance of the card of, now you're succeeding. Look at all the trophies I've got. And she said, oh yeah, that one. That makes sense. And I'm like, okay, see, so you're always learning something. So don't forget to consider, positive and negative nuances of the cards. The not sort of the remember that the pip cards are the situations. So especially, I know I've been horrible with the sixes and the queens, generally almost saying the same thing. The sixes are about being in that situation of whatever. Six of Wands is about having just finished a hard battle, of that sense of peace, almost of victory, of achievement. And the Six of Swords is about that new perspective, and then what these things bring you, that maturity they bring you, that's what's in the Queen. So I know I've been bad about saying that this whole time, but now I said it, I think, right 2 or 3 times now, so you should know it. There'll be a quiz at the end. So that wraps up the Minor Arcana. We're going to move into the Major Arcana overview, and then we'll dive into the Major Arcana itself, do another sample reading video with a much smaller selection of cards, only 22 of them, and then we will wrap this series up, shall we? Okay, I hope this has helped you. If you have any insights, comments, questions, challenges to anything I've said, please leave me a comment below. I'd love to talk about it. We can hopefully both enlighten each other a little bit and deepen our understanding of the tarot, or at least the Minor Arcana. So I'll see you next video. Blessed be.